I'm Jackie Naaman Jones, and I play the little girl in Manos, The Hands of Fate. And I'm here to read my book to you, one chapter a day until it's done, for free, and with blessings from my publisher. I'm just so happy about that. So to begin, I just want to say thank you to my co-author and editor, Laura Mazuka-Toops. Could not have done it without her. We actually met on Facebook, and she took my story, my words, and put it together in a magical way so that we created a book that's like 4.5 stars on Amazon. Very proud of that. So below in the comments, I will send links for my book. So you're welcome to buy it, either from the publisher or directly from me, signed and personalized. This is the book, Growing Up with Manos, The Hands of Fate. How I was the child star of the worst movie ever made and lived to tell the story. The foreword is by Joel Hodgson. So today, as I begin the story, I'm reading Joel Hodgson's foreword and my prologue. Let's see, is there anything else you need to know? I don't think so, not at the moment. So let's get started. Ooh, this is a hardback version. And look, my dad signed it. I'm keeping most of these for my family. Foreword by Joel Hodgson. Manos, The Hands of Fate is not MST3K's greatest riff. Far from it. I could name 30 episodes that I think are funnier, better, and more capably written. But for some reason, almost inexplicably, Manos is one of our more popular host bodies for MST3K. Host body, that's the usual relationship MST3K had with the almost 200 films riffed in the 11 years the show was initially in production. People have different ways of describing MST3K, but I prefer to think of it as a variety show that rode on the back of a movie. We weren't there to point out the flaws of the film and make fun of the lack of quality, because that's sort of the coloring book version of what we do. As much as we saw the lines and situations each film presented as a chance to cross-reference it with something interesting, to tell a joke, to do an impression, or to sing a song. We had a symbiotic relationship with the films. We needed them, and in a way, they needed us. Like the pilot fish that would suck the bacteria from the mouth of a shark, in our case, we, the pilot fish, tended to only suck the bacteria from really scrawny shark-like movies that you've probably never seen. The year was 1993. And years earlier, Manos had fallen into the public domain and now qualified as one of our host bodies. That's where Frank Conniff, better known as TV's Frank, first found it, as the member of our team who would initially screen the films for use in MST3K. He discovered Manos in a big box of VHS tapes sent to us by HBO Downtown Productions, the company that would pre-clear the cheesy films we were looking to riff. Frank watched the film, saw something he liked, and moved Manos into the pile of potential films for us to screen, which we usually sorted through during our lunch break at the Best Brain studio. I don't actually remember the lunch we screened it at, or if we all signed off on it, actually. I don't remember any of us were really paying that much attention. Manos was just one of 22 shows we would riff every season. Back in the day, our little staff of writers, performers, production crew, and office staff peeled off a new show every 8 work days. It was basically a really fun assembly line where you got to watch movies all day and hang out with some of the funniest people you knew. And we had gone a long time without an accident. However, all these years, strangely, I do remember a clear memory of riffing Manos. It was unimaginably slow moving, and the sound was terrible. And this is the first time the thought did cross my mind. Should I mention to the writing room just how bad I think this film really is? Or, as the creator, executive producer of the show, would that be really irresponsible? Like yelling fire in a crowded theater? I never said anything. All the pistons were firing and the writers were doing their best to charge up that hill. I figured, why jinx it? But soon, everyone else started to speak up. And it turns out we were all thinking the exact same thing, each of us a little afraid to mention it to our movie riffing coworkers. Manos, as a movie, kind of blew. Our feelings were reflected in the Manos episode of MST3K, and you'll notice things like TV's Frank apologizing for how bad the movie is, something we rarely ever did. But this time, we felt obliged to. And what came out, for reasons beyond me, became one of the more famous titles on MST3K. But, like I said, I don't think it was because we were particularly funny. It was for more other mysterious reasons. And I'll offer another concept to explain how Manos became so loved, without all that much help from us. Looking back, MST3K operated on what I'll call the haunted house theory. At its best, MST3K is like exploring a haunted house on the edge of your hometown with 3 companions. There needs to be a sense of discovery, because if you know what's coming, it's not nearly as good. In today's media-dense society, we rarely, if ever, go to a film we don't know pretty much everything about. It's de rigueur, a French word, to be pre-sold a film before we even step foot in a theater or watch a film at home. We see the film laid out in front of us days, weeks, or months ahead in the form of a trailer, interview, or piece of news about it. But not so with MST3K. It works on some sort of inverse of modern cinema exploitation. The less you know about what's going to happen, the better. So yeah, if you apply the haunted house theory to Manos, it seems to make sense, because as the film unfolds, you slowly get the feeling that the filmmaker is slightly out of control and you don't quite have a grasp on what's ahead. And just what exactly are they capable of? There's a true sense of anxiety you absorb as you start watching the picture, while at the same time there's also a sort of indescribable watcher's fatigue that sets in. It blends into a malaise that coats your throat, and it's all embodied in a strangely suffocating film environment where you can't quite catch your breath, and then you can't help but wonder, is this all by design? You start to get this creeping suspicion building up about whether the filmmaker, Hal Warren, is actually inept, or maybe you wonder, Harold Warren knows exactly what he is doing. Are you watching something that's a mistake, or something that's a masterwork from some unrecognized horror king who's infused this film with such a murky sense of aimless dread that it can't possibly be anything but intentional? And you suspect, At any moment, he's about to use his bizarre skill to administer to you, his victim, a filmic death blow jump scare that will make you regret that you ever decided to watch this film or any film ever. Well, relax. If you've seen Manos all the way to the end, that filmic death blow jump scare never comes. We know now, thanks to Jackie Naaman Jones' wonderful recollections in growing up with Manos the Hands of Fate, that Harold Warren isn't a genius after all. Just a misguided, though ambitious, wannabe showman and fertilizer salesman who decided that he knew enough about business and human nature to make a feature film. The crooked path that Manos took was really just a string of misunderstandings, poor judgment, and a few happy accidents. Say what you want, but all those mistakes add up to a little bit of a miracle, because simply put, Manos will make you feel a brand new sort of angst. And isn't that all anybody really wants anymore? You know what? Even now, after all these years later, just thinking about writing the riffs to Manos the Hands of Fate still kind of hurts my stomach. Joel Hodgson, creator of Mystery Science Theater 3000.